With its long sea border between early civilizations, Yemen has long existed at a crossroads of cultures with a strategic location in terms of trade on the west of the Arabian Peninsula. Large settlements for their era existed in the mountains of northern Yemen as early as 5000 BC. Little is known about ancient Yemen and how exactly it transitioned from nascent Bronze Age civilizations to more trade-focused caravan kingdoms. This may be due to social or official discouragement of research into pre-Islamic civilizations in Arabia. 4. The Sabine Kingdom came into existence from at least the 11th century BC. 5. There were 4 major kingdoms or tribal confederations in South Arabia: Saba, Hadramaut, Qutayban and Ma'an. Saba is believed to be biblical Sheba and was the most prominent federation. 6. The Sabine rulers adopted the title Makarib, generally thought to mean unifier. 7. Or a priest-king. 8. The role of the Makarib was to bring the various tribes under the kingdom and preside over them all. 9. The Sabines built the Great Dam of Ma'ab around 940 BC. 10. The dam was built to withstand the seasonal flash floods surging down the valley. Between 700 and 680 BC, the kingdom of Asen dominated Aden and its surroundings. Sabine Makarib Karabiawatar I changed his ruling title to that of a king. 11. And conquered the entire realm of Asen, expanding Sabine rule and territory to include much of South Arabia. 12. Lack of water in the Arabian Peninsula prevented the Sabines from unifying the entire peninsula. Instead, they established various colonies to control trade routes. 13. Evidence of Sabine influence is found in northern Ethiopia, where the South Arabian alphabet, religion and pantheon, and the South Arabian style of art and architecture were introduced. 14. 15. 16. The Sabine created a sense of identity through their religion. They worshipped El-Makka and believed themselves to be his children. 17. For centuries, the Sabines controlled outbound trade across the Bab el-Mandeb, a strait separating the Arabian Peninsula from the Horn of Africa and the Red Sea from the Indian Ocean. 18. By the 3rd century BC, Qutayban, Hadramaut and Ma'an became independent from Saba and established themselves in the Yemeni arena. Median rule stretched as far as Dedan, 19, with their capital at Barakish. The Sabines regained their control over Ma'an after the collapse of Qutayban in 50 BC. By the time of the Roman expedition to Arabia Felix in 25 BC, the Sabines were once again the dominating power in southern Arabia. 20. Aelius Gallus was ordered to lead a military campaign to establish Roman dominance over the Sabines. 21. The Romans had a vague and contradictory geographical knowledge about Arabia Felix or Yemen. The Roman army of 10,000 men was annihilated before Marab. 22. Strabo's close relationship with Aelius Gallus led him to attempt to justify his friend's defeat in his writings. It took the Romans 6 months to reach Marab and 60 days to return to Egypt. The Romans blamed their Nabatean god and executed him for treachery. 23. No direct mention in Sabine inscriptions of the Roman expedition has yet been found. After the Roman expedition, perhaps earlier, the country fell into chaos and 2 clans, namely Hamdan and Himyar, claimed kingship, assuming the title King of Sheba and Duraden. 24. Duraden, that is Himyarites, allied themselves with Aksum in Ethiopia against the Sabines. 25. The chief of Bagul and king of Saba and Duraden, Al-Shara Yadab, launched successful campaigns against the Himyarites and Habasha, that is Aksum. Al-Shara took pride of his campaigns and added the title Yadab to his name, which means suppressor. He used to kill his enemies by cutting them to pieces. 26. Sinai came into prominence during his reign as he built the Gumdan Palace to be his place of residence. The Himyarite annexed Sinai from Hamdan circa AD 100. 27. Hashti tribesmen rebelled against them, however, and regained Sinai in around 180. 28. It was not until 275 that Shamar Yarish conquered Hadramaut and Nadran and Tama, thus unifying Yemen and consolidating Himyarite rule. 2930 The Himyarites rejected polytheism and adhered to a consensual form of monotheism called Romanism. 31 In 354, Roman Emperor Constantius II sent an embassy headed by Theophilos the Indian to convert the Himyarites to Christianity. 32 According to Philostorgius, the mission was resisted by local Jews. 33 Several inscriptions have been found in Hebrew and Sabaean praising the ruling house in Jewish terms for helping and empowering the people of Israel. 34. According to Islamic traditions, King Ishq the Perfect mounted a military expedition to support the Jews of Yathrib. 35 Abu Karabusht, as known from the inscriptions, led a military campaign to Central Arabia or Najd to support the vassal kingdom of Kinda against the Lakhmids. 36 However, no direct reference to Judaism or Yathrib was discovered from his lengthy reign. Abu Kariba died in 445 CE, having reigned for almost 50 years. 37 By 515, Himyar became increasingly divided along religious lines, and a bitter conflict between different factions paved the way for an Aksumite intervention. The last Himyarite king Mirza Karabiafar was supported by Aksum against his Jewish rivals. Mirza Karab was Christian and launched a campaign against the Lakhmids in southern Iraq, with the support of other Arab allies of Byzantium. 38 The Lakhmids were a bulwark of Persia, which was intolerant to a proselytizing religion like Christianity. 39. After the death of Mirza Karabiafar in around 521 CE, a Himyarite Jewish warlord named Yusuf Asar Yathar rose to power. His honorary title Yathar means to avenge. Yemenite Christians, aided by Aksum and Byzantium, systematically persecuted Jews and burned down several synagogues across the land. Yusuf avenged his people with great cruelty. 40 He marched toward the port city of Mocha, killing 14,000 and capturing 11,000. 38 Then he settled a camp in Bab el-Mandeb to prevent aid flowing from Aksum. At the same time, Yusuf sent an army under the command of another Jewish warlord, Sherahil Yakbo, to Najran. Sherahil had reinforcements from the Bedouin of the Kinda and Mathiha tribes, eventually wiping out the Christian community in Najran. 41 Yusuf Hordunu was the one with sidlocks as known in Arabic literature, believed that Christians in Yemen were a fifth column. 42 Christian sources portray Dunu as Yusuf Asar as a Jewish zealot, while Islamic traditions say that he threw 20,000 Christians into pits filled with flaming oil. 43 This history, however, is shrouded in legend. 33 Dunu has left two inscriptions, neither of them making any reference to fiery pits. Byzantium had to after lose all credibility as protector of Eastern Christianity. It is reported that Byzantium Emperor Justin I sent a letter to the Aksumite king Caleb, pressuring him to attack the abominable Hebrew. 38 A tripartite military alliance of Byzantine, Aksumite and Arab Christians successfully defeated Yusuf around 525–527 CE, and a Christian client king was installed on the Himyarite throne. 44. Ruins of the Great Dam of Merab. Ruins of the Great Dam of Merab. Azimiphaos was a local Christian lord, mentioned in an inscription celebrating the burning of an ancient Sabine palace in Merab to build a church on its ruins. 45 Three new churches were built in Najran alone. 45 Many tribes did not recognize Azimiphaos' authority. Azimiphaos was displaced in 531 by a warrior named Abraya, who refused to leave Yemen and declared himself an independent king of Himyar. Emperor Justinian I sent an embassy to Yemen. He wanted the officially Christian Himyarites to use their influence on the tribes in Inner Arabia to launch military operations against Persia. Justinian I bestowed the dignity of king upon the Arab sheikhs of Kinda and Kassan in Central and North Arabia. 46 From early on, Roman and Byzantine policy was to develop close links with the powers of the coast of the Red Sea. They were successful in converting Aksum and influencing their culture. The results with regard to Yemen were rather disappointing. 46. A Kindite prince called Yazid bin Kabshak rebelled against Aprawa and his Arab Christian allies. A truce was reached once the Great Dam of Maribed suffered a breach. 47. Aprawa died around 555–565 CE. No reliable sources regarding his death are available. The Sassanid Empire annexed Aden around 570. Under their rule, most of Yemen enjoyed great autonomy except for Aden and Sana'a. This era marked the collapse of ancient South Arabian civilization, since the greater part of the country was under several independent clans until the arrival of Islam in 630.